All right, you see this, my friends? This is called Balanced Rock. It's in North Salem, New York. I'd love to have somebody that can go here and take some very close-ups and make sure. I think these are two different chunks of a heart. That's the lower part where it has the ventricle walls and all that. And this is the part at the top where it has the plumbing and the aorta and all that stuff go. Now I'm seeing this building here. I think that's this building. I don't know, but it's right next to this rock. Now this one here does not appear to be the same rock. Somebody posted and said, this doesn't appear to be the same rock. What do you think? And I agree. But it is from the same source. That's why they have elevated them both on these pillars. This one only has like, I don't know. That's why I need somebody out there to look. This does not look like the same one. I agree with the guy that posted that. That is not the same one. Now, and it says it differs from the local bedrock, supporting the glacial transfer. It's all ripped up because it was pushed by glaciers, and glaciers brought it down. And that's how they explain all kinds of stuff. Now, some theorists suggest it could be a Native American dolmen or Druid structure, but no evidence supports any of that. It's just a rock as far as they're concerned. Glacial striations on the supporting stones align with the Ice Age, and a lot of things align with a lot of things, but what they're aligning with, they don't understand. So here's what I did. I decided I would throw my stones at this. This was from a good friend of mine, Phil Harris. And he found this rock. He saw that little red spot on the side, brilliant red. The whole thing was perfect and big, because this is a heart. So he takes it and he whacks it right there. And it just popped in half. And that's because iron banding. There's different states of iron that are polar and they push against each other. And this came right apart. So he sees this and he freaks out. I don't blame him. All right, so I need somebody to get up here and look at the other side, all the different places in this tube here. I think that's the aortic arch. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is what happens above this. That was right down on here. This one was right down on top of that one. Those are tubes. That's where the plumbing side goes. That was a heart. And when he broke it in half, that's what you got. The plumbing on one side and the buckets on the other. And I think that's what we got here. You can see the different colors. There's the blood right there. That's why I don't think this is any big, hard thing to do. Somebody's just got to go up there and look at that. It's the same colors as the one I just showed you, only red blood turns sort of dark. Well, I can show you on his. It did the same thing on his. One side of it turned dark. I think he let it sit out for a little longer. But the yellow is there. You see this? This is from Phil's. All right, so let's look at the two things again. This was the side that was down. And all the blood collected in there. And you got the red, the black, and the yellow. Now, up above this, and it would have been right on top, is this. All right, it's hard to tell without having enough shots here, but I'm going to focus in on this. Look at this thing right here. That's a tube coming around here, and I believe that's the aortic arch. You see that? That's a tube. That's not just some rounded off looking thing. That is a tube. And I believe it's the aortic arch. Now the rest, if we could look at it close, I think those are bands of muscle. But I need somebody to go up there and look at it. I'm pretty sure what I'm seeing here. But somebody's got to go up there and really look at it close. And look at these, everything that you can see on the details. Now, to me, it would appear that cap, if it was like here is the plumbing, and here's the bucket, it comes on here. So what I would think on the other side of this, we're going to see where the valves the valve structure here would attach to that other part, which is the first part of the two picture thing I showed you. Hold on. Now, this is why hearts just pop apart, and they just completely fall apart. You got the red blood, which has a certain amount of oxygen, and you got the blue, which is the vein, and it's got a different amount of oxygen, and the two oxygenation states repel each other, and it just snaps apart, and this just goes wherever it goes. Now, the aortic arch is up here. You don't see it well in this shot, but this tells you where the iron banding is, and that's why they snap apart. And I believe this part is up on the top of the hill, and the other one rolled down the hill. That's the only way I can see it. All right, the key to this whole thing is that they were balancing these hearts all over the place. And this is not the same as these. That's just totally different, though. That's a heart. They're all hearts. And they're all different. Now, that's the one I showed you that is this one here. You can see the aortic arch, pretty much. And, there's hearts all over the place because each giant had one. And this one here, those colors are transition metals, and that's what's in your blood. They're everywhere. And they're not just up in New York. There's a good shot showing the color of the blood. So anyway, this is what needs to be looked at. Just avoiding it because it's too much to, it's just a little scary. This is not the same as the other ones. There are a whole variety of them. And this one here, you can easily see the blood. I think that's this one here. And this just went up 3 hours ago. It's from, it's YouTube. Let's see. I know I showed you this. Oh, that's nice.
This is the quickest way to clear out stuck poop.
The number one thing correct.
So guys, as most of you know by now, I love to travel. I love to see new places.
Well, I sort of hit a semi-dead end here. I'm seeing all these different looking rocks. I don't think these are the same rocks. Some of them, I believe this one and this one were attached. And this was the plumbing, and it broke off. I've explained all this stuff before, but I can see these are not the same rocks. Now, the only one that I did notice, and I watched the video, he said he could only find one rock. Now, obviously, that's not the same as that. They were putting these up. They call them dolmens or whatever. And I think I showed you this one. I believe that's the aortic arch. And this is all, to me, it's obvious. At this point, it's become obvious. What happens is that plumbing breaks right off there, and you get right down to the valves and this bucket below. And that's what we're seeing. That's laying like this. And you can see the different colors. And you're going to have different colors because you've got different bloods. And there's your aortic arch. So you're going to have different color in this bucket than this one and this one here, because some of them leak the lymph, the yellow, and some of them have the artery, which is the red blood, and then the vein, which is the black. It's exactly what I showed you. All right, so I'm just going to finish up with this claim. To me, it looks like this is the building, that there's this building. Could be, maybe not. I don't think these are the two same rocks. There was a guy that said that, and I agree. He said they're not the same rock, and but that requires somebody on site to verify that. I believe that's the aortic arch, and I believe this would have basically been capped right onto there. But the whole thing would be a heart hanging down, and that's where the buckets of blood are, and that's this. And I showed you those buckets of blood very clearly. They're the same thing as this. This is a heart. And we can prove this, I'm sure, if I can have somebody on site take a look at this. But it's Balanced Rock in Salem, New York. All All right, I guess I'll just wrap it up with this. You can see it's quite obvious. There's something different going on from here. And this one's different. This is not the same rock as that one. I don't know. I like I say, I would really need somebody to be able to go up there and take a look at that. Now, I believe that this heart is still intact. And this side is where the tubes would come out. And I think they're using those rocks to go right up into the little tubes to hold it in position so it's never going to go anywhere. But they clearly are not the same rocks, not every one of them. And I believe they're just broken. Just like this one here is broken. That one's broken, the top's gone. All right, thank you. I love you all.